Welcome to Build in Public, the podcast where industry leaders pull back the curtain on how they actually built it. The hard calls, the pivots, the moments AI changed everything, and the lessons they wish they'd known sooner. I'm your host, Troy Mann. Each episode, we go deep with founders, operators, and innovators who are growing businesses in a world that's moving faster than ever. No polished narratives, no highlight reels, just real conversations about the journey. Let's build. Today, I'm joined by Justin Abrams, CEO and co-founder of Cause of a Kind, a software and innovation studio focused on helping brands solve complex digital challenges through development, SEO, and customer experience strategy. Justin has a fascinating background blending marketing, entrepreneurship, and technical execution. He's been very vocal about the intersection between business strategy and software development. What I'm excited to unpack today is not just the entrepreneurial journey, but also how modern software leaders are navigating growth and operational complexity. Welcome to the podcast, Justin.
Troy, it's an absolute pleasure. Can't wait to give you everything I know.
All right, fantastic. Hey, for those that are not familiar with Cause of a Kind, just give us a brief overview.
Cause of a Kind today looks a lot different than it did 10 years ago when I created this business in the surf lineup with my business partner. We'll get into the backstory if it's relevant. But today, we really solve complex problems for businesses. I build software for folks that can't build it themselves. Kind of simple as that. I have had the pleasure of servicing a range of customers, of clients, of individuals, everything from greenfield startups and people pursuing a dream, trying to moonlight it against their careers and just have this itch to create something, all the way to the largest enterprise brands in the world. You name it, I've had a really amazing career and building software for complex businesses with lots of high stakes and things like that. And everything in between. What we specialize in is translating complexity out of your head and into software. Kind of fun to do.
So you and Michael built Cause of a Kind from the ground up. What
Yes.
problem were you originally trying to solve?
You want to know what's funny? I built it from below sea level up. I started this thing in the surf lineup, literally below sea level. You know, Mike and I have been friends since we're 15 years old. No bullshit. And when we were younger, we were just rock climbing buddies, and that's how we met. Was at a local rock climbing gym right here on Long Island. We still go to that rock climbing gym to this day. We still live locally to each other, and we are friends first. That is the formula. That is the secret to our success. That's the secret to our relationship. We are friends first. Any decision that's going to compromise that isn't a decision that we need to make. And so that's always been a really cool true north. And so we went our separate ways for school. We came back together, both kind of working our professional jobs in Manhattan. We both have really interesting stories about how we even got into our careers. Everything is by chance, just following opportunity, not pursuing passion at all, just needed to make a buck and become an adult. And the world forces you into making decisions about how you're going to spend your time. And, Mike went off and built himself a really technical career, and I went off and built myself more of a sales, marketing, and client services back career, and those complement each other. And so Mike and I never really lost touch of each other and what we were building, and I don't even remember the series of events, but I think a friend told us, hey, you guys should try to build something. And the first thing that we tried to build was an extreme failure, but it's still a project that I'm interested in today, and we may try to build at some point in the future. But that was a product called Membo, which was reward programs shared across Main Street. So instead of having your reward program in a coffee shop, you could share your reward program with your dry cleaner, with your bagel shop, with your pizza shop, and a cumulative reward program for the places that you frequent. Still a really good thesis, still hasn't been solved. Maybe I'll get to it. But wrong place in history, wrong time for us to be building that. And man, we didn't know I didn't even know 1% of the stuff that I know now, and probably wouldn't have been successful no matter what. So that was a departure. That brought us to a series of additional things that we wanted to try and build. I've always wanted to build something. I've always wanted to build software. It's what my career was in, specifically in SaaS. And that was really what the climate was like 15 years ago, 16 years ago. That's what the world was like. It was all SaaS. It was that revolution. And so when everybody goes left, we try to go right. I still do that today. When everybody's trying to figure one way out, okay, where's the puck going? I think that's classic advice for founders. I think everybody's trying to chase it. Some people get that right. Some people get that really wrong. We got it pretty wrong in the beginning, just transparently. So fast forward, we're sitting in the surf lineup. It was a no good, very bad day of us trying to figure out, are we going back to work? Are we going to, pursue our careers? Are we going to be entrepreneurs? What are we going to build? So we're in the surf lineup. Before work, this is 5:30 a.m. dawn patrol before we have to schlep into the city to go to our jobs. And we had the idea, what would somebody pay for a surf session with famous Kelly Slater, famous pro surfer, associated to a charity? And so that's where Cause of a Kind comes from. It's one of a kind experiences backed by causes that we care about. Really cool thesis again, except there's a big incumbent in that space called Omaze. And we didn't know about Omaze when we built the original business. But when we figured out Omaze, we were like, pivot, let's become an apparel company. So one of a kind production of clothing for causes that we care about. We always stayed within that wrinkle. Now everything is software backed. Everything is based on the web. That was an e-commerce experience. We were just flexing our skills and building the things that we wanted to build in our likeness. And at some point, the apparel company is really, really hard. Anybody that runs an apparel company trying to build that, trying to stock inventory, even doing single run like we did, which was purchase to order, still extremely hard. And it's a single purchase experience. Return customers in that category is just, you're amazing if that's what you can accomplish. And so too big of a problem for us to solve, too much inexperience at the beginning. It's at the beginning of our lives. If you think about it, before kids, before houses, before real challenges. And that was too big of a challenge. But man, we were just too lazy of trying to reform the business and create new names and go through the rigmarole with the state and trying to get new LLCs cut. And so we were like, screw it. We're just going to keep the name Cause of a Kind. And simultaneously at that time, people started asking us to build their things. And there's your agency. The agency was born by just people asking us to build their little website, this little piece of software. And we're like, hey, we're not building this thing for ourselves. We might as well build for others. And so that was 10 years ago in June. And it's been a journey ever since. And I won't give you what's happened since then just yet. I'll let you pull it out of me.
Hey, that's a great story. So you've talked about balancing creativity with operational discipline. How has your leadership style evolved as the company scaled?
Ooh, it's a good question. You want to know what's really interesting? The company has scaled in revenue, but not necessarily scaled in talent. What's interesting is the advent of AI has allowed us to stay incredibly lean, which is a really interesting play because the types of individuals that are on my team don't necessarily require the type of leadership that I think you're alluding to. These are the types of guys that have left their careers at recognizable technology companies in pursuit of freedom and independence and their own individual creativity. My job is to hype them. My job is to make them feel like they're invincible. The projects that they're working on are the most magical things that they could have ever left their careers for. I'm blessed to have this level of talent density in my team, and it's something that we always pursued. I always knew I would be an entrepreneur. I always had this empathy for leadership and managers, and I went to work to really learn. I always knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. I've always had a side hustle, good or bad, illegal or legal, whatever it might be. And I was always intrigued by leadership style. And the things that I ended up pulling from other people that were my leaders were things like compassion and empathy and diligence and the studious things that you need in order to encourage the people around you. I am absolutely not a micromanager. It's actually probably one of my faults. I trust my team implicitly to get something done. If I have to come back and ask you if that was done, I'm way late. It's already way late. We have a problem. That's just not my style. My style is lead from the front, find the next biggest opportunities, build this brand. I'm a founder-led organization. I have completely sold my soul to the algorithm just in pursuit of this business and whatever we build next. And so my leadership style is light and fast. I let my people go surfing. I love that my people have extracurricular lives. It's what's most important to me and my partner. It's the most attractive thing to people when I meet new people. And it increases my surface area for luck. So being out in the world, allowing my people to live their lives and evangelize the brand. I work for this amazing, great place that gives me freedom, that gives me a remote lifestyle, that allows me to pursue my interests and my lifestyle. That to me is what leadership is about, is setting the tone for that. I can't do it for myself and not allow my people to do it. That would just be contrarian and just wouldn't make sense. And so I don't know what it will look like in years from now. We always have this dream of growing the staff substantially. As of now, it just hasn't been necessary. Even with the workload that we have, more workload, more revenue, more clients, more work to do than ever with the least amount of people that we've ever carried. And so we're a big team of 6 right now. At one point, we were 20 before the AI revolution. That was maybe, I want to say 8 years ago, we were held to 20. And that was really before the tooling was really modernized and let us accelerate the way that we do without sacrificing quality. I'm a fully American team. We're fully onshore. It's just something that we pride ourselves on. And I solve American problems with American talent. And that's just kind of the way that we continue to pursue that. It's what we've become known for. My leadership style is light and fast, man. It's how I mountaineer.
Sounds like you built a great culture. You talked about you're building things for others. You've leaned out, right? You've scaled down as you try to scale up the business. So how do you balance that custom client work versus building repeatable systems internally?
It's a good question. If I've seen it before, it's easy to execute, but I'm in the business of novel ideas. So lots of times people are coming to us with something totally greenfield as far as its application in the world. Most of the time, it's a compilation of solved problems. Solved problems are things like login, or it might be the way the user interface is constructed, or database architecture. Solved problems that everybody has done before. But the thesis, the way that that product is going to live in the world and who it's going to accommodate, those are typically novel and unique. I really have not built the same thing twice. Same general idea, maybe if somebody wants a financial forecasting tool for their business, but I build custom software. So your business is not exactly like your neighbor's business. And so kind of balancing that, what's cool is it's invigorating. My team, most of them, especially my business partner, Mike, left their careers working on a single problem for years. You'd be working at a business, working on a single problem for years. And so my guys come to me and they have the opportunity to work on 5, 10, some of them work on over 20 problems a year, different full scale projects. And that's so cool. That's just something that these types of individuals are really invigorated by. So it really is a balance of new, fresh, innovative, invigorating, but it's also the brilliant basics of just getting the things that are repetitive really, really right. Not spinning our wheels on the things that drive business and drive retention and that are valuable to our customers, and really shining where it comes to innovation and helping people really dream. That's a key point for us.
That's very energizing. What parts of the agency operations today in this AI era are still surprisingly manual?
Oh man, I wasn't really expecting you to go that way. Surprisingly manual. I thought you were going to go the other way, which is increasingly automated. What's funny is the manual part of my business is me, is the people, the human. I can't fake that. I can't manufacture that. I can't workflow that. I can't do any of that. Me showing up to this show. Riverside is a real secret sauce behind my business too. We'll get into some of those things. Distribution is key for any business. I don't care what business you're in. Distribution is the signal. Even this product doesn't exist with all of its AI capability. It doesn't exist without the talking head. And my business is built on hand-to-hand combat. My business is built on talent meeting talent, client-side talent and in-house agency talent. You can't manufacture that. It doesn't matter what the agent is capable of doing. When one of my guys shows up to a call and has an emotional moment for a founder or navigates a serious problem for an enterprise VP of engineering and anything in between, people are not the things that were replaced. That emotional reliability, that connection, the trust that comes from that is the one thing in my business that has truly not been replaced. Now, I've romanticized that quite a bit, but there are definitely things in my business that are still highly manual. For example, a problem that has not really been solved effectively in software and web development is quality assurance. That manual aspect of shipping something over the line. Does it work? Does it have vulnerability? Was it built to specification? Is it right? That part is still human. I still have a team. I still have a software delivery manager that is responsible to check every pull request, every testing link, every staging environment, all before everything pushes to production. And sometimes it's possible stuff still slips. You have a rogue problem on a different device or a browser that you didn't check or whatever. And so lots of these things in the quality assurance aspect are still quite manual in our business. The sales process is, of course, incredibly manual. It's all relationship development. It's still manual to have to get on a plane and go close a deal. It's still manual to have to go to a conference. There's nothing my agent can do for me for that. So much of this business in hand-to-hand combat is really human-to-human experience. There's not much that my agent can do. Now, the inner workings of the business and how we ship and how I produce and what my velocity looks like without the sacrifice of quality, that's where the tooling has really come into play. So you have to imagine my team is entirely empowered. We're at the forefront. We're always looking for the next tool. We're always looking for the next combination of agents. We're always looking for the next thing that's going to give us increased productivity. But we're also cautious, right? I'm looking for 2 to 3x gain in productivity with saving of overhead. I need to reduce expenses. There's 2 ways for a business to make money. It's either save money and reduce expenses or make more of it. And I'm, of course, trying to do both, as every business should. And so I'm really looking for, if I'm going to make a change, for example, my team is truly considering moving away from Claude Code right now to Codex, simply because there is a very obvious 2 to 3x performance gain. I'm no longer waiting for Claude to spin up the result. It's gotten a little latent. And so Codex just gives me a speed efficiency. It could be as simple as that. So being a student, being evaluative, understanding that we're super early in this market, and just being good students, good shepherds, good advocates for the solutions that we've built. And that's a big part of my distribution strategy, which is to share what our experience is and to share what our technical approach is and what things aren't working. My knowledge to share for everybody else is one of the attractive things that people rely on us for. And so it's all good stuff, right? Our tribulations that we go through is shared knowledge for everybody else to make better decisions about their business. So I really take it. It feeds into my leadership analogy. It really feeds into, even if I don't know you, I want to give you the keys. I want to give you my experience, either so you can emulate or avoid. There's plenty of stuff to avoid.
One of my favorite sayings is don't confuse motion with progress.
Hey, good quote. So
And
true.
today, AI is everywhere, so pervasive. And it makes me think back 20 years ago when everything was about sustainability and everything was green. And in my space, there was a lot of greenwashing. And it feels AI is kind of on a similar track because everyone's putting an AI stamp on some service product, even if it's really not. So when you think through workflows and you think through leveraging AI, where is it really making improvements today versus it's just more glimmer and shine?
Man, I have a lot to say on this, so forgive me if I'm a bit lengthy or verbose here. There's a few things that I would say to that. First of all, as I'm getting on this podcast, my partner texts me and he says, "I've got multiple agents running right now. I'm going on a walk with my wife." In what world was that even possible? Not too long ago, I was commuting to the city. There was no walk with your wife. You're lucky if you get a walk with your coworker. And then you get everybody else saying, "Hey, that guy's slacking. He goes out for a walk at 10:30 in the morning every day. What the hell is he doing?" The world is different now. The ability to complete work passively, right? It's a lot of upfront. Make sure your agents are working on the right things, doing the right things. There's a lot of cultivation. I don't want to say manipulation, but it's cultivation. It's more like nurturing a crop that's going to then do the work and grow on its own. And so the what it's given back to people, especially the ones that are in pursuit of mastery, we're truly in pursuit of being masterful engineers here. And so that's just a big one, man. The ability to live your life first. It's that let my people go surfing mentality. It's Patagonia's Yvon Chouinard's famous book, Let My People Go Surfing. When the swell is in, we go surf. When there's no swell, we work our asses off. That's my motto, man. That's how we work. And so AI has enabled us to really embrace the lifestyle first without the sacrifice of the quality, without the sacrifice of the volume of shipping. You have volume days. I stack the calendar for volume days so that we can have dense, deep work days that don't have distractions. There's all sorts of ways to manipulate your calendar, your schedule, your lifestyle, all for the balance, especially in a remote environment. We have no HQ. I don't make the staff come into an office anywhere. We get together frequently in person just to keep the camaraderie. But this is a distributed remote team. Everybody's got to be responsible because I don't have eyes on that. You're sitting in your desk every day and there's no real way. And I'm not going to do click monitoring on your keyboard and all that good stuff. That just doesn't matter. One of the things that we were talking about just very recently, both on the show, I was talking about it at a conference last night that we were at, a tech meetup in Manhattan that we were at last night. You talked about the illusion of productivity, which is nothing new, man. I'm sure you worked in a corporate environment before. You'd have people with the headphones on, click-clacking on the computer. The ones that have the screen blocker you can't see unless you're standing right. Those are the ones totally stealing time, doing the wrong thing. The illusion of productivity is nothing new. It's a creature of habit for people. People are tired. People are not focused. People have other stuff going on in their minds and their hearts, whatever. Today, it's just amplified. And so even though you have all of this stuff powered by AI, there's more websites made in 2026 than ever existed before cumulatively. Just think about that. I didn't make that stat up. 33% of all websites in existence were created since January of 2026. I don't even know where I read that statistic, but I read it the other day. Absolutely. You could research it after the show. So to me, that is what I get into. There's a famous show on in my world called the the Primogen. Shout out to Prime. And he talks about this thing called toxic productivity. And it's just do it to do it to do it with no real goal or outcome or experience. And it's just repetitions for the sake of repetitions. It's like doing bicep curls with a can of soup, just cause. And so accuracy matters this day and age. Posturing matters less. The amount of things that you created doesn't really matter. There's one thing that truly matters is, does it make money? That's what business is about. That is the heart of capitalism. That is literally the only reason to start a business. I implore anybody who does not have that goal, make money, don't get started. We talk about this all the time on my show. If that's not your goal, you're going to run out of your dream. Cash funds the dream. So if you want to be altruistic and you want to create a business that helps people, you need money. Big surprise, right? So there's more stuff being created today just for funsies, side quests, distractions, keeping people busy at enterprise businesses. Go and try and figure that out. It's the ability to digest and distribute the entire frickin' roadmap. But was that the right thing to do? We used to build things super deliberately. We used to take the time to listen to our customers. We used to take the time to beta test things, to go through rounds of iteration, to take the experts that we've hired into our business to help us round out and make a decision that we're all included on. Sales has to figure out how to sell the thing. Marketing has to figure out how to distribute the thing. Service business has to decide how they're going to support it, and et cetera. Nah, man, that stuff is just gone. Everything is just hot wire, just ship. And so while that's cool, and there are some companies that really have that culture and have really embraced that, most companies are just shipping junk. That's either a liability for the business that never sees the light of day, that doesn't map to revenue goals, that's just a side quest for side quest's sake, and just keeps people running in place. And so there's a reckoning coming, if you can think about it. Businesses are trying to figure out, where do I deploy capital? You deploy capital typically in either innovation or humans. And that's why you're seeing this, is because the side quests of businesses, could I innovate rapidly enough with all these people using AI? And when the answer is no, and it didn't make money, how do you recuperate on that investment? There's only two ways to make money. It's either reduce expenses or increase revenue. So the easiest way to increase cash in your bank account is to reduce your expenses. And so that's a big story it's going to be the continuation of how we see large scale layoffs, or how we're starting to see small businesses contract. What do people do now in the age of AI? Not that it's going to replace your job, but businesses were bloated in the first place. They hired too many people because it required too much manpower to do the thing before. And that was the only way to accelerate, was to throw bodies at the problem. Well, now we have a different situation, right? I see that toxic productivity thing constantly. And I truly implore people to really, if you haven't built a successful business so far and you're not lean, to do it the old fashioned way, to learn how to build the thing from scratch, not just vibe code something over the wire. This has to do with anything. Make a presentation in old school PowerPoint from scratch. I spent my whole career having to do that. Just because AI can do it over the wire, you're missing an entire perspective of skill. It also makes it so you're not so intimate with the thing you built. I didn't write every line of code now, so I really don't even know what the hell was written. I just know, hey, it works. I didn't make the presentation. So I'm manufacturing on the spot, on the stage, trying to catch up to the presentation that AI created for me. It wasn't from me and my soul. It didn't speak it into existence in the presentation. And anything in between. There's so much of this surface area that the old-fashioned way was to do it manually. And so I started our conversation by saying, everybody goes left, I try to go right. And so for me, this is about the things that work are automated, are agent-led. The things that are innovations, old school manual style. I got to be intimate with the problem, especially if I'm going to delegate the problem. I really need to know what the hell I'm talking about. That's how I feel. Maybe that's not right. Maybe that's not the way, but I'm a small business. I can't really just throw money at problems. I can't really just hire people to say, hey, work on this idea that I have until it fails. If it fails, I'll put you on something else. That's a luxury that small business just doesn't have. And so I implore people, if you don't know what to do with your time, go sell something. Go learn the skill of sales. If you're already a salesman, you don't know what you want to do with your time, learn how to distribute, learn how to market, learn about omnichannel strategies. Go and learn the thing. If you know all of that and you want to learn a new skill, go learn how the internet works. Most people have no idea how Wi-Fi enters your home, how you're connecting to the internet and you're on the browser and you're looking at a website. No, people don't know how that works, just basically. And we use it every day. And so there's no shortage of information for people to consume. And in the age of AI, it's truly synonymous with the age of complacency. And I just go the opposite direction from that. I have too much to lose. I have too much ambition. And if all of this gets regulated, if it gets too costly for us to use, we will still fall back on the skills that started this business in the first place.
That's a lot of great nuggets there. So, with everything you have going on with your team, with what sounds like an amazing culture you've been building, where do you see cause of a kind in 12 months, and what are the biggest obstacles that are slowing you down right now?
That's a great question. Agency lifestyle, anybody that knows this, there are levels to this game. Even the most recognizable agencies in the world have this boom and bust cycles. The goal is to do this. And that's any salesman, any business. The goal is to remain relatively stable, but in your hockey stick, you're kind of on your way up in trajectory. So 12 months is a really short timeline in business. 12 years is maybe a little long, too long of a time. So maybe we'll take that 3 to 5 perspective along with your 12-month perspective. In 12 months from now, man, I don't really know what the climate is going to look like as far as AI's capabilities. What I do know is that the conversation has changed substantially. The computer is now relevant again to people. It had a period of time where it was just a thing that we use to do our jobs. People surf the internet. Maybe I make a Word document. It was just a thing. Now you have people curious to the capabilities of the machine. And so that's really exciting for an agency because I build software for people who can't build it for themselves. That thesis will always remain true for us. That's our purpose in the world. I see an invigoration in that. I see super complex problems coming from people who have spent their careers living in that problem, realizing I can't build it for myself, but I have enough of experience and vision to get the right team on the boat and build that thing for us. And so that more of that, I see that happening more and more. It's less of the commodity. It's less like of the staff augmentation that's run our business. So that would be an existing e-commerce brand that doesn't have internal web engineering to run a Shopify website, and they're looking for us to staff a person. That's cool. That's great. That definitely keeps revenue flowing into the business. Historically, the things that really invigorate us are these large-scale greenfield innovation projects. And so more of that is what I anticipate. It's always been the thing. It's been about 50% of the book, always. But I see that being 90 to almost 100% of the entire book, especially because AI is going to augment the staff augmentation scenario. What do I really need a high scale agency for to run my WordPress website? That narrative is going to change. And that will happen over the next 12 months. It's already happening in real time. Lots of businesses are catching up to that. And again, reduce your expenses. Absolutely, as a business, if you don't have that staff in-house, but AI can manage it, why get an agency? Maybe an agency will help you implement that workflow. But then what do you need that continuous relationship for? There's only 2 ways to make money in a business. And so over 3 to 5 years, what's going to happen? My primary role for this business is distribution, brand marketing, omni-channel distribution strategies, and I'm a professional talking head at this point. And so what happens in 3 to 5 years? There's lots of experienced professionals out there. The one that comes to mind, this could be an Alex Hormozy play. This could be a Grant Cardone play. This could be Gary Vaynerchuk is famous for this one. Distribution is the defensible moat now. That's the thing that every business is craving for. It's the ones that most businesses just can't figure out. But some businesses are super lucky to just have recognition in an industry. They do something niche. They've done something for a very long time. They have the reputation, etc. Startup businesses today, distribution runs the world. Even enterprise businesses that have innovation arms, distribution is running the world. And so over the next 3 to 5 years, business, the agency of Cause of a Kind, turns into a media house. That's really what I see, is that businesses come to us for amplification of their cause. That's what I really see. That's what I value. That's what people come to us and want to exploit the things that we have built, which is I've built that system for people to do that. And so I see we have a quite successful podcast of our own. It's called Strictly From Nowhere. I built it from nothing. It took 5 years to make it something. And what do I see? I see so much more of that. I see the compounding effort of distribution. The next thing that I build will already have a built-in audience. The next customer that selects us to build their startup, hopefully it's unicorn status, is going to build us for our ability to support their distribution. The investments that I make, they're not bringing us on for my technical acumen. They're bringing me on for my influencer strategy. for my ability to distribute the idea. And so over the next 3 to 5 years, that's really what I see is a significant push towards becoming a media house. And businesses are really thinking about this at all different scales. The ones that are really aware that content and distribution drive the thing, those are the ones that are currently successful in the moment and will continue to be. And that's my bet. That's my bet for this business. That's my bet for the successful businesses over the next 3 to 5 years. The ones that figured out distribution are the ones that are going to be successful.
Yeah, great stuff, great nuggets. Justin, appreciate you sitting in, giving us a backstage tour into Cause of a Kind.
Of course.
For those that are watching, listening, until next time, I'm Troy Mann with Ascend Integration Partners. Remember, the pace of change in the market is getting faster every day. Adapting to change is not a requirement, but neither is survival. Rise above with Ascend. Take care.